Good afternoon, students and friends. Now we are going to talk in this session about the solids. Up to the previous session, we have discussed about the liquids. This is the final session of intermolecular forces. We will limit our discussion in the intermolecular forces topic up to for the solids up to some extent of the classifications of solids only. Okay. Now let us come to the talk about solids. That means solids, when you talk about solids, when you think about solids, do you ever wonder why solids have a definite shape and volume? Why solids have definite shape and volume? Definitely this is a question will get raised in this discussion of solids. Start talking about that one again. Once you have to go back to the kinetic molecular theory of solids. According to kinetic molecular theory of solids, what will happen? A mole of solid particles has much kinetic energy than a mole of liquid or gas particles at the same temperature. That means here when you talk about the kinetic energy, what is the kinetic energy? The kinetic energy is more when compared to the liquids and gas particles at a given temperature. So, by this definition, the particles in a solid must be in a constant motion. So, definitely in solid also particles must be in a constant motion. For such type of substances, a substance to be a solid rather than a liquid at a given temperature, that must be having a strong attractive forces acting between the particles in the solid. So when you talk about such things, definitely there is a strong attractive force will be operated between the solid particles or atoms in the solid, and those forces limit the motion of particles in vibrations around a fixed location in solid. That means in solid we will heard about strong attractive forces. Strong attractive forces we are talking. When these forces are stronger, the meaning is nothing but these definitely the vibrations, that means motion of the particles up to the vibrations around fixed positions in solids will be noticed. Thus, what will happen? There is a more order in solid than in liquid. That means the arrangement is nothing but orderly arranged particles. Orderly arranged particles we will see in the case of solids. Because of this orderly arrangement of particles in solids, solids are not fluids. Solids are not fluids. That is one point we have to get from this one. That means only gases and liquids are classified as fluids. Solids are not classified into, comes under fluid category. So when this is the situation arised, definitely solids have a shape and a volume that can be understood. Okay. Now when we are talking about the densities of the solids, when you talk about density of the solid. What is the meaning of that one? Density is mass by volume. So, the particles in solids are said to be more closely packed than in the case of liquids. That is the meaning is nothing but density will be greater in a unit volume. In a unit volume, what is the mass that will be acquired by the solid, that is called density. The most solids are said to be more dense than most liquids. The result we have achieved here is nothing but density when it comes to the solid cases, that is extensively greater than the density of liquids. Now, when we are discussing about the liquid and the solid states of substances coexist, when the liquids and solids coexist, the solid almost always shrinks in the liquid. Solid shrinks in the liquid. So, solid cubes of benzene sink in liquid benzene because liquid benzene is more dense than liquid. Solid benzene is more denser than liquid benzene. Likewise, ice cube. Ice cube also shrinks into water because the density is higher than water is a case. But there an anomalous behavior of water we have discussed. So, in such cases we can't easily discuss about the density and denser nature of the states of matter. But here in a case of other than water, why benzene solid state shrinks into the liquid benzene is because of the density considerations. So, these are about 10% difference in the only density between solids and liquids, and these solids are said to be closely packed. Usually ordinary amounts of the pressure, if you observe, they will not change the volume of the solid. So, finally what we concluded here is nothing but they are more denser than liquids and gases. You cannot predict the relative densities of ice and liquid water based on benzene, as earlier we have discussed anomalous behavior of thus ice cubes. Ice cubes and icebergs float because water is less denser as a solid than it is a liquid. So, we have so many reasons are there. The reason for that one, but water freezes. Each water molecule forms hydrogen bonds with up to 4 neighboring water molecules in that case. As a result, what will happen? Water molecules in ice closely packed together than in liquid water. That we have noticed in the previous session, liquid states. Now, so densities are more, shape, they will exhibit definite shape and they are having a definite volume also. Okay. Coming to the discussion, what is the kind of classification we can see in the solids? Now we will talk about solids. In the solid cases, crystalline, amorphous, the two things we will see in the case of solids. The fundamental difference we will see in the solid cases, one kind of solids we will call they are crystalline solids, other kind solids we will call amorphous solids, that we will going to learn in this session. And out of that one, the one we called as crystalline solids The other one we call it as amorphous solids. When it comes to the discussion of crystalline solids, those solids are further characterized, they are categorized by ions. So, ions, that means ionic crystals, molecular crystals, ionic, molecular, covalent network, covalent network type of crystals, or metallic crystals. Like this. Not only this one, we will have further subdivision is there. In those subdivisions, when you start talking about the crystals, crystalline and amorphous. Crystalline means they are the solids which comprising a well ordered arrangement of atoms and molecules. Amorphous means there is no long range ordered, no long range order arrangement of particles. And but crystalline is nothing but they are said to be well ordered, a well ordered arrangement of ions or particles, well ordered arrangement or arrangement of particles. Here also you can write particles. So, in this we can classify crystalline solids into molecular, ionic and even metallic or atomic also. Even atomic also we can, because atomic means noble gases in the solid state, they will come into the discussion. Now, talking about crystalline solids, crystalline solid is a solid whose atoms, ions, molecules are arranged in an orderly, that means geometric structure will be there, perfect geometrical structure will be noticed for such type of crystals. Now, when we talk about the locations of the particles in crystalline solid, they are represented as points in the framework which is called as crystal lattice in solid state. So, the further discussion about the study of the crystalline solids will be continued with the unit cell and its importance in the separate solid state chapter we have. Okay. Now, when we are talking about this type of classifications, in this even we have atomic also is there in the classification. In the atomic solids, the unit particles, that means the constituent particles of solids are nothing but atoms only. Noble gases will play an important role in that. Group 18 elements we can say, noble gases when they are in solid state, they are said to be soft and very soft in nature with low melting and poor electrical conductivity values will be there for such solids. But talking about the ionic solids are said to be consisting of the constant particles ions, cations and anions. They have high melting and they are having high conductivities. They are said to be poor conductors when they are in solid state, like sodium chloride, potassium bromide, etc. Even calcium carbonate also you can include in that case. But here Coming to the covalent crystals, covalent solids, the atoms are connected by covalent bonds. In ionic solids, the forces of attraction, electrostatic force of attraction, strong electrostatic force of attraction between ions, and in the covalent network type of solids, the constant particles are nothing but atoms which are connected by covalent bonds in covalent network solids. In those kind of classification, we have diamond is the best example. Even we can write silica, quartz, SiO2 is the best example for this type of things. Ionic means sodium chloride, potassium bromide and all we have given. Two examples only I am giving, because more and more examples with the tabular column in solid state separate chapter again we will discuss. Coming to covalent network solids, characteristic property, they have very hot and they have high melting points, often poor conductivity, they are poor conductors when compared to the other substance. But graphite and diamond, there is a competition is there, that separate chemistry we all know. Coming to the molecular substances, crystalline substances, their molecules are the constant particles, and where fairly they are soft, they have low melting points, low to high melting points also will be there, but they are poor conductors of electricity. So in this case, when anybody asks me about, give an example for molecular solids where the attractive forces or intermolecular forces are existed, means immediately you can go with the iodine, I2, water, H2O, etc. Even ammonia, carbon dioxide, table sugar and all, you can give examples for such molecular solids. Moving on to the metallic solids. Metallic solids means here we have atoms are there, metals only are there. The metal exhibits positive charge and that is bounded by electrons released by the metal. So it's an electronic C model type of crystals there. They have a mobile valence electrons will be there, and they are said to be soft to hard, and they have very high melting points, as well as they are malleable and ductile like sheets and whatever wires also we can get from this type of metallic solids. They are excellent conductors of electricity, heat and electricity. They are metallic solids. In that case, all metal elements will come in the case. All metallic elements, will come into the example. Now, what is the category of crystalline solids? Once again, crystalline solids can be classified into 5 categories based on the types of particles they contain and how those particles are bonded together. That first, atomic solids. First we have told about atomic solids. Next, ionic solids, molecular solids, covalent network type of solids and metallic solids. And the only solids in this one are noble gases, which are atomic solids. Noble gases, when they are in solid state, that solids are called as metallic solids, and their property, because the reflection is nothing but weak dispersion forces between the atoms. Weak dispersion forces between the atoms will give this type of solids. Once again, in brief, what is molecular solids? Molecular solids are nothing but the solids which are molecules are held together by dispersion forces dipole forces or hydrogen bond like forces. Here London forces, dipole forces, hydrogen bond like forces. In the case of molecular solids, dispersion, London forces, hydrogen bond like forces, these all will be operated here in the molecular solids only. So molecular solids are a special kind of solids where these all different kinds of intermolecular forces will be encountered. And coming to the most important thing is that these molecular compounds or solids are not said to be solids at room temperature. Remember, they are not solids at room temperature, because even water is there. Water is given, we have taken water as an example for this one. At room temperature, H2O is not a molecular solid which can form strong hydrogen bonds, is a liquid at room temperature. So molecular solids are there. All the molecular solids are not solids at room temperature. That is the most important point to be noticed. Another thing is nothing but molecular compounds or solids like sugar, which are solids at room temperature. See, when we have taken sugar, it is an example, C6, C12, H22, O11. Sugar is an example. If you take, water is different, sugar is different. Water, H2O at room temperature is not molecular solid, whereas sugar is a solid at room temperature. So molecular compound sugar is a solid at room temperature because of large molar masses. Molar mass is large, 342 grams per mole is sugar's molar mass. So with large molecules, what will happen is that many weak attractions combine to hold the molecule together. In that case, that is why molecular solids with heavy molar masses are solids at room temperature, but they contain no ions. So ions won't be there. In this case, molecular solids are said to be the poor conductors because of they don't contain any kind of ions and they are poor conductors of heat, even electricity also. So molecular solids, detailed study we observed, molecular solids are nothing but constant particles are solids, and all the molecular solids are not solids at room temperature. Example, sugar if you take is a solid at room temperature because of the larger, heavier molar masses. That molar masses, even the weak forces are there, the weak forces combine to hold the molecules together and making that is a solid at room temperature. Coming to the covalent network type of solids, covalent network type of solids. We are discussing about the intermolecular forces. In that covalent network type of solids, atoms are there here, and the forces are nothing but covalent bond like forces here. You take carbon and silicon, in which carbon can form multiple bonds, covalent bonds. Carbon able to form covalent network type of solid called diamond. And this covalent network type of structure also possible with the silicon compound Quaj SiO2. Okay, so when we talk about such things, if you see the diagrammatical representations, carbon forms three types of covalent network, in that diamond, graphite, Buckminster fullerene. That carbon gives this type of covalent network, particularly diamond we are discussing, that imparts a high strength because of three-dimensional structure that exists in different kinds of forms like solid, liquid and gas, that is allotropic modifications of carbon compounds. For more information, carbon allotropes in the carbon elemental chemistry we can see in the inorganic branch. Now, coming to the metallic solids. Metallic solids means ionic solids. I will discuss after that. Come to the metallic solids. Ionic solids. Ionic solids means ionic solids are surrounded by ions of opposite charge. Cations are opposite charge to that of anions. Anions are opposite charge to that of cations, and if they have a kind of strong intermolecular attraction, electrostatic force of attraction, and that attraction brings this ionic solids. That the type of these ions that are nothing but cation and anion, the ratio of ions determine the structure of the lattice and shape of the crystal in the case of ionic solids. Okay. Not only that one, the network of the attraction extends throughout the ionic crystal. In ionic solids, they gives compounds with high melting points and high boiling points for that ionic solids with hardness also. In ionic crystals, they are said to be stronger, brittle, that means we can break them easily at a particular plane. That is the characteristic property of ionic solids. So, when an ionic crystals are struck, the cations and anions are shifted from their positions. Okay. When you struck the ionic crystal, what will happen? The cations and anions are shifted from their fixed position. That means positions slightly changes. So, the repulsions between the ions of like charges cause the crystal to shatter. That is the another characteristic property of ionic solids. Now, we will talk about metallic solids. If you recall the informations in the metallic elements, metallic solids consist of positive metal ions. Positive metal ions are there. Positive metal ions are said to be surrounded by electrons, sea of electrons. This is separately studied in the Lorentz-Drude theory, electronic theory, in the metallic solids, metallic bonds type of force of attractions in the chemical bonding. Okay, the metals are cations, metal are positive ions. They are actually held each other by electrons, sea of electrons, which are released by those metals only. So, the strength of the metallic bond between whatever is there, cations and electrons, varies among the metal and accounts their wide range of physical properties. That means here a metallic bond is there and here a metallic bond is there, means this metallic bond strength is different than this metallic bond strength. Reason is nothing but they are having a variable physical properties. The physical properties are changing because of the temperature changes also. Moving on to the temperature upgradation. When you just apply temperature here, suppose 230 to 1455, 230 degrees Celsius to 1455 degrees Celsius, if you apply the temperature range, tin is melting at this temperature Sn, and here 1455 temperature nickel is melting. Nickel is melting. That means wide range of physical properties can be observed for different kinds of metallic solids. That means the mobile electrons are there, they make the metals malleable and easily hammered into the shapes and they are ductile, easily drawn into wires. So the metals can be easily drawn into wires, and these metals can be easily hammered, and we can prepare sheets also. That is called malleable. Preparing sheets from the metal elements by hammering the metal is a property called as malleability, and preparing wires because of the property called as ductility. They are ductile, they are malleable. 2 points are important. So when a force is applied to a metal, what will happen? Electrons shifted, thereby keep the metal ions bonded in their new positions. So wherever electron is shifted, these metals also changes their position in metallic solids, and these electrons, that time we will call it as mobile electrons. Electron is called as mobile electron, and the mobile electrons make these metals are very good conductors of heat and electricity. Now an extensive usage of this metallic solids is happening throughout the world because they are good conductors of heat and electricity. Business is there, equipment we want, home we want some equipment of wires and all, such as our own examples like electrical wiring and all is required metallic solids. So metallic wiring to carry electricity is most important in our domestic life. Okay, these are actually the types of solids. Why we discussed about the classification of solids is nothing but in all the classifications the formation of these solids are only because of the intermolecular forces, particularly the intermolecular forces playing in the molecular solids are dipole forces, London or dispersion forces, hydrogen bond like forces. In the ionic solids, ionic bond is the force of attraction. In metallic solids, metallic bond is responsible. But among these classification of crystalline solids, molecular solids we will consider as the most important, and in these molecular solids all different kinds of intermolecular forces we can able to discuss. And not on this one, when we are talking about amorphous solids, they are completely no long range order arrangement of particles. In such case, what will happen? We don't find any kind of problem with that type of amorphous solids as the arrangement is weak arrangement, and there is no such kind of the attractions which are operated like this one. Here random arrangement will be there, but here systematic arrangement will be there. So that is the difference in the case of this crystalline solids and amorphous solids. So I have given all the 4 different kinds. Hope you have observed the classification of crystalline solids into atomic solids, ionic solids, covalent solids, molecular solids and metallic solids. Okay. Next, talking about amorphous, I will give you amorphous. In that, glass is the best example for that amorphous kind. As most of you are familiar with this example, glass. That means solids are most stable from this discussion than amorphous. So So crystalline solids are most stable. Then amorphous. Reason is arrangement only, close pack arrangement of solids. However, if a solid is formed rapidly, that means when a liquid is cooled quickly, its atoms or molecules do not have time to align themselves and may become locked in positions other than those of regular arrangement. That arrangement we will call it as irregular arrangement. So irregular arrangement of the constant particles. Irregular arrangement of the constant particles we can call short range ordered, long range ordered, short range ordered, another different kind of wording we can use. So those substances called as amorphous solids. The resulting solids in such a process is called as amorphous solid. Amorphous solids are, we have examples. Glass is an example. Glass, even if you take any other kinds of example, rubber and all, those also will comes into the discussion. When we are taking glass, why we are taking this is the best example, nothing but it's a solid that is lacking regular three-dimensional arrangement of atoms. But here a regular three-dimensional arrangement of atoms will be there. Here no regular three-dimensional arrangement, that is not observed in that case. So glass is one of the civilizations of most valuable and versatile material. As you all know, it is also one of the oldest glass articles, date back as far as 1000 BC. Glass commonly refers, an optically transparent fusion product of inorganic materials that has cooled to a rigid state without crystallizing. So when you talk about this wording, you will be astonished that what is glass? Glass is a solid, but it is not a crystalline solid. It is a transparent fusion product of inorganic elements. They are cooled to a rigid state without any kind of crystallization happened. That is called as glass, which is amorphous solid. By fusion product, we mean glass is formed by mixing molten silica. That means SiO2 in liquid state is there. If you just cool that one, glass will come out. It's a chief component of the compounds, such as so many other oxides are there. Sodium oxides, boron oxides also are there. Certain transition metal oxides also will be there in the formation of glass. In some respects, we can say this glass behaves like a liquid than a solid. Glass behaves like a liquid than a solid. See, this is most important point. The question why they asked is nothing but why glass is considered super cooled liquid in our textbook is nothing but the glass in its X-ray diffraction studies, this glass is said to be lacking of long range periodic order, and about 800 different types of glasses are commonly used, and they have told this two-dimensional diagram schematic arrangement of crystalline quartz and amorphous quartz glass, they have noticed they are not systematically arranged. That is why they are suddenly cooled substances. That means liquid which is not converted completely into the systematic arrangement of crystal, that liquid is called as glass. So composition properties of quartz, pyrex and soda lime glass, they are quite little different. and their classification and their arrangement, pictures, and all will be discussed in the solid state separate chapter only. Okay. Now this is the end of this session. In this session, I have given you I have introduced about the intermolecular forces in the type of solids, different kinds of solids. Particularly, solids are classified into two types, crystalline and amorphous, and their classification which is given briefly. So this will be further carried out. This discussion will be further carried out, carry forward to the other topic called as particular solid state topic in the class 11 syllabus we have. Okay. Until, have a nice day. Thank you very much. With this session, we will move to the next chapter, solid state. Okay, in the next session onwards. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Wear mask and maintain social distance. Try to avoid try to break the chain, COVID chain. Thank you very much.